Hi everyone, myself Sudhindra HN, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Srinivasa Institute of Technology, Olachil, Mangaluru. In the previous video, that is KCET 2020 Physics, in that we discussed the question paper regarding the physics, and in this video, I come up with the solutions for KCET 2020 for the chemistry paper. In that, the first question goes like this: aqueous solution of a salt forms A forms a dense white precipitate with the barium chloride solution. The precipitate dissolves in dilute hydrochloric acid to produce a gas which decolorizes. Acidified KMnO4, that is potassium permanganate solution. A and B respectively are barium sulfate and hydrogen sulfide, barium sulfate and sulfur dioxide, barium sulfite and sulfur dioxide, and barium sulfate and hydrogen sulfide. And the right answer for this particular question is option number C, that is barium sulfide and sulfur dioxide, because in the reaction when barium chloride is made to react with the sodium sulfate, which gives barium sulfide and sodium chloride, two molecules of sodium chloride. And when this barium sulfate again is made to react with the hydrochloric acid, it will give barium chloride and sulfur dioxide and water. Salt A is Na2SO4, that is sodium sulfide, and the dense white precipitate is barium sulfide. Gas B is sulfur dioxide. It decolorizes acidified KMnO4, that is potassium permanganate solution. Because of its reducing nature, the corresponding reaction is 2 KMnO4 plus 5SO2 plus 2H2O. It gives K2SO4 plus 2 MnSO4 plus 2H2SO4 sulfuric acid. And the question number 2, bond angle in phosphanium ion is more than that of phosphorus hydride. This is because option A, pH3 has a planar trigonal structure. Option B, hybridization of P changes when pH3 is converted to pH4 ion. Option C, lone pair bond pair repulsion exists in pH3. And option D, pH4 plus has a square planar structure. And the right answer is option C, that is lone pair bond pair repulsion exists in pH3, that is phosphorus hydride. The reason is, according to the Dragos rule, the hydrides of group 15-16 below the third period, by following the Dragos rule, it states that due to a large energy difference between the atomic orbitals, these compounds do not exhibit hybridization. Thus, pH3 will not exhibit hybridization, and here the bond formation takes place due to the overlap of pure p orbitals and s orbitals. pH3, that is phosphorus hydride, has a lone pair on a central p atom which is absent in phosphanium. Thus, in phosphorus hydride there will be a bond pair, lone pair repulsion, and this is the reason why the bond angle in phosphorus hydride is less than that of phosphonium. So this is the right answer. Next question is question number 3. Incorrectly matched pair XeF6 distorted octahedral, XeOF4 square pyramidal, XeO3 pyramidal, XeF4 tetrahedral. And the right option for this particular question is option D, that is XeF4 tetrahedral, because we'll discuss individually. XeF4, that is xenon hexafluoride, there are 6 bond pairs and 1 lone pair. Thus, the shape of xenon hexafluoride is distorted octahedral. And in XeOF4, that is xenon tetrafluoride, in which xenon is sp3 dehybridized and the shape is square pyramidal. So that option is also wrong. Next, in XeO3, that is option 3 he has given, that is xenon trioxide. in which xenon is sp3 hybridized and the shape is trigonal pyramidal. And in option 4, that is XeF4, that is xenon tetrafluoride, in which xenon is in sp3 d square hybridized. It has 4 bond pairs and 2 lone pairs, thus the shape is a square planar. So the next question number 4, phosphorus pentachloride. Options are A, has all the 5 equivalent bonds. Option B, exists as an ionic solid in which the cation has an octahedral structure and the anion has a tetrahedral structure. And option C, on hydrolysis gives an oxo acid of phosphorus which is tribasic. And option D, on hydrolysis gives an oxo acid of phosphorus which is a good reducing agent. And the right option is option C, that is on hydrolysis gives an oxo acid of phosphorus which is tribasic. We'll discuss the entity one by one. The first option what he has given, that is phosphorus pentachloride has a trigonal bipyramidal structure. Here the 5 bonds are not of equal lengths as the axial bonds are slightly longer than the equatorial bonds. Option B. Second one, that is PCl5, that is phosphorus pentachloride solid exits PCl4, that is tetrachlorophosphanium, and PCl6, that is phosphorus hexachloride, and they have tetrahedral and octahedral structures respectively. C, on hydrolysis, phosphorus pentachloride gives H3PO4, that is phosphoric acid, which is tribasic. When phosphorus pentachloride is made to react with the water, it gives phosphoric acid and 5 molecules of hydrochloric acid. In phosphoric acid, P is its +5 oxidation state. So it is in its highest oxidation state and hence is not a good reducing agent. So the option is C. On hydrolysis gives an oxo acid of phosphorus which is tribasic. Next, question number 5. Identify the set of paramagnetic ion among the following. Option 1, titanium ion, cupric ion, and manganese ion. Option B, scandium ion, titanium ion, and vanadium ion. Option 3, vanadium ion, cobalt ion, and zinc ion. Option D, nickel ion, cuprous ion, and zinc ion. And the right option is option A, that is titanium, cuprous, and manganese ions, because the ion which contains unpaired electrons exhibit paramagnetic behavior. The electronic configuration of the ions are given below. For titanium, Ti3 plus ion, that is 1s square, 2s square, 2p6, 3s square, 3p5. For cupric ion, Cu2 plus, its orbital state 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5, 3d9. And for the manganese oxide, manganese ion, Mn3 plus, its orbital state 1s square, 2s square, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5, 3d4. Thus all of them have unpaired electrons, hence they will show paramagnetic behavior. In option B, V3 plus, Zn2 plus, Zn2 plus does not possesses any. Question number 6. How many moles of potassium dichromate is required to liberate 6 moles of iodine from an aqueous solution of iodine ion? The options he has given. Option A 0.25, option B 0.5, option C 2, and option D 1. And the right answer is option C, that is 2. Because by knowing the balanced redox reaction of potassium dichromate, when it is made to react with potassium iodide with the 7 moles of sulfuric acid, it will give potassium sulfate of 4 moles, 3 moles of iodine, and 1 mole of chromium sulfate, and 7 moles of water. So the conclusion from this relation we can get, that is 3 moles of iodine requires 1 mole of potassium dichromate. Hence, 6 moles of iodine will require 2 moles of potassium dichromate. So the right answer is option C, that is 2 moles. Question number 7. Cuprous chloride and cupric chloride in an aqueous solution medium. The options he has given. Both are unstable. Option B. Cuprous chloride is more stable than cupric chloride. Option C. Cupric chloride is more stable than cuprous chloride. Option D. Stability of cuprous chloride is equal to stability of the cupric chloride. It depends on the size of the cation. Smaller the size of the cation, more will be the hydration enthalpy. Hence, more will be stability. So the right answer for this particular question is option C, that is cupric chloride is more stable than cuprous chloride. The reason, the size of cuprous ion is smaller than Cu+. The hydration enthalpy depends on the size of the cation. Smaller the size of the cation, more will be the hydration enthalpy. Hence, more will be the stability. The right answer is option C. Next, the question number is 8. The coordination number of iron and cobalt in the complex ion, what he has given, that is trioxalate ferrate and cobalt tetrathiocyanate. The options are option A 4 and 6, option B 6 and 4, option C 3 and 4, and option D 6 and 8. And the right answer is option B, that is 6 and 4. Because C2O4 2-, that is oxalate ligand, it binds through 2 oxygen atoms and thus in a bidenatate ligand. Hence, the coordination number of this ion complex is 6. And thiocyanate ligand, SCN. Therefore, it is a monodentate ligand. Hence, the coordination number of cobalt complex ion, what he has given, is 4. The right option is 6 and 4. Next, question number 9. Number of stereoisomers exhibited in dichlorobis cobalt or ethylene diamine cobalt is option A 5, option B 3, option C 4, and option D 2. And the right answer is option B, because which is available in both cis format as well as trans isomers, cis isomers as well as trans isomers. Hence, the option is B, that is 3. Next, question number 10. The IUPAC name of PTNH3,4-PTCl4 is, the options he has given, tetraamine palatinate 0, tetrachloride platinum 4. Option B, tetraamine platinum 2, tetrachloride palatinate 2. And option C, tetraamine platinum 0, tetrachloride platinum 4. And option D, tetraamine palatinate 2 and tetrachloride platinum 2. And the right answer is option either D or B we can go in this, either A or D option we can select for this particular question, but still option D is the right, that is tetraamine palatinate 2 tetrachloride platinum 2, because the coordination complex must be neutral. In all the options, the oxidation states of platinum are given such that we get an overall neutral complex. Again, while naming a complex, the cationic part should be named first, followed by the anionic part. While naming the anionic part, the name of the metal should end with the suffix ate. From this, we can conclude that IUPAC name of this given compound can be either option A or D. But the most common oxidation state of platinum is +2 and +4. And in both the parts of the complex, platinum has the same coordination number. So the right option is option D. Next question, question number 11. Prolonged exposure of chloroform in humans may cause damage to the liver. It is due to the formation of the following compound. First one is option A, CH2Cl2, that is dichloromethane. Option B, Cl2, that is chlorine gas. Option C, that is CCl4, that is carbon tetrachloride. And COCl2, that is cobalt chloride. And the right answer is option D, that is COCl2, that is cobalt chloride. That is when chloroform is oxidized, it forms phosgene, which is poisonous. So the option is D. Next question is question number 12. Which of the following halides shows the highest reactivity towards SN1 reaction? Okay, here SN1 reaction is nothing but it is a mechanism, follows a step-by-step process, wherein the first, the carbocation is formed from the removal of the leaving group. And here option he has given CH3, CH2, CH2, CH2I, that is alkyl iodide. Option B, C6H5Cl, that is chlorobenzene. Next, C6H5CH2Cl, that is benzyl chloride or alpha chlorotoluene. And option D, that is CH3CH2Cl, that is chloroethane. And the right option is option C, that is C6H5CH2Cl, benzyl chloride or alpha chlorotoluene, because the rate of an SN1 reaction is determined by the stability of the intermediate formed. In this case, the most stable intermediate formed would be for C6H5CH2Cl, and the intermediate formed would be C6H5CH2 ion. This intermediate is stabilized via resonance. Next question, question number 13. When magnesium bromide, that is MgBr, is made to react with the methyl amine CH3NH2 under the presence of dry ether, it will give possible number of isomers, he asked. The options he has given 3, 2, 4, 5. And the right answer during this reaction, it will give 2 monomers. One is isobutane and another one is butane, which follows this reaction. Question number 14. Which of the following on heating gives ether as the major product? Reaction A, C6H5CH2Br plus CH3ONa. That is when benzyl bromide is made to react with sodium methoxide. Second reaction he has given C6H5ONa and CH3Br. That is when sodium penoxide is made to react with the bromomethane. Next, third one, CH3CCl plus CH3ONa. That is when tert butyl chloride is made to react with the sodium methoxide. Next, reaction S, C6H5CH double bond CHCl plus CH3ONa. This is when benzyl chloride is made to react with the sodium methoxide. So the reaction, see options he has given. Option A, both Q and S reaction. Option B, both P and Q reaction. And option C, both R and S reaction. And option D, that is both P and R reaction. And the right answer is option B, that is both P and Q, because primary alkyl halides, that is benzyl halides, react with the alkoxide or penoxide to give ethers via SN2 mechanism, where SN2 mechanism is nothing but it is a nucleophilic substitution reaction where a bond is broken and another is formed simultaneously. Here breaking and formation taking place simultaneously. This reaction is known as Williamson's ether synthesis. Aryl halides are the least reactive as the CX bond has a partial double bond characteristic and hence does not cleave easily. 3 degree, that is tertiary halides, do not give ethers as they undergo elimination in the presence of a strong base like alkoxide. So the option is B. Question number 15. The steps involved in the conversion of propanol to propanol are in the order. Option A, heating with the phosphorus pentachloride, that is PCl5, heating with the alcoholic KOH, hydroboration, oxidation. Next, dehydration and addition of hydrobromide in the presence of a peroxide, heating with alcoholic KOH. Next, dehydration and addition of hydrobromide heating with the alcoholic KOH, potassium hydroxide. And option D, heating with the phosphorus pentachloride heating with alcoholic potassium hydroxide, acid catalyzed addition of water. So the exact reaction is going to taking place, that is heating with the PCl5, heating with alcoholic alcoholic KOH, then hydroboration, and then oxidation. This is the proper sequence of the reaction. So the option is option A. Next question is question number 16. Which of the following is the strongest base? OH minus, that is hydroxide or diatomic anion. Next CH3O, that is a methoxide ion. Next CH3COO, that is a hydrogen acetate ion, and chlorine ion. And the right answer is option A, that is hydroxide, diatomic anion. To check the basicity of an ion, the conjugate acid must be weak. The conjugate acids are given below: H2O, CH3OH, CH3COOH, and HCl. That is CH3OH, water, methanol, ethanoic acid, and hydrochloric acid. We know that methanol is a stronger acid than water. Weaker the acid, stronger is the conjugate base. By that logic, OH minus is the strongest base among the given option. So the right answer is option A. Next, question number 17. Product P for this particular reaction. When benzaldehyde is made to react with the acetaldehyde in the presence of dilute sodium hydroxide, by on heating, it will give 4 different products he has given. The right option is option A, which follows this aldol condensation reaction. So the right option is option A. Question number 18. Which of the following has the lowest boiling point among these? CH3O CH3, that is dimethyl ether. Option B, HCOH, that is formic acid. Next, option C, that is CH3CH2OH, that is ethanol. This is also called as a drinking alcohol. Next, option D, that is CH3NH2, that is ethyl amine. And the right option, which have lowest boiling point among these elements, is option A, that is CH3O CH3, that is dimethyl ethers. Because ethers cannot form strong hydrogen bonds, and hence they have the lowest boiling point among the given option. Option A is the right answer. Next, question number 19. The carbonyl compound that does not undergo aldol condensation is trichloroacetaldehyde, option B acetaldehyde, option C acetone, and option D dichloroacetaldehyde. And the right option is option A, that is trichloroacetaldehyde, because at least one alpha hydrogen should be present for an aldehyde or a ketone to undergo aldol reaction. The only compound that does not have even one alpha hydrogen is trichloroacetaldehyde, and hence it does not undergo aldol reaction. So the option A is correct, that is trichloroacetaldehyde. Question number 20. In the following reaction, the final product R he asked, that is when benzene NO2, when it is made to react in the presence of bromine and in the presence of iron bromide with the presence of tin, in the presence of tin and concentrated HCl, and then bromium nitrate, sodium nitrate, that is NaNO2, and maintaining at temperature 273. At the end, the last product what we are getting, here he has given 4 of the options, and the right option is option D, which follows this particular reaction, benzene ring with bromine and OH. So this is the right answer. Next question, question number 21. Hinsberg's reagent is C6H5SO2NH2, that is benzene sulfonamide. Next, option B, CH3COCl pyridine, that is acetyl chloride. Next, CH3CO2O pyridine, that is ethanoic anhydride. And option D, C6H5SO2Cl, benzene sulfonyl chloride. And the right option is, that reagent is option D, that is benzene sulfonyl chloride, C6H5SO2Cl. Since Hinsberg reagent is benzene sulfonyl acid, it is used to test for and distinguish between primary, secondary and tertiary amines. For this purpose, we are using this reagent. Question number 22. Which of the following vitamins is not stored in the adipose tissues? Option A, D, option B, E, option C, A, and option D, that is B6. And the right answer is option vitamin B6, because adipose tissues stores those vitamins which are fat soluble. Among the given vitamins, only A, B, and E are fat soluble. Vitamin B6 is water soluble, and hence it is not stored in adipose tissue. Question number 23. Hypothyroidism is caused by the deficiency of option A, thyroxine, option B, glucocorticoid, option C, vitamin B12, and option D, adrenaline. And the right option is option A, that is thyroxine, because hypothyroidism is caused by the deficiency of the hormone thyroxine, which is produced by the thyroid gland. And the next question is question number 24. C1C4 glycosidic bond is not found in option A, lactose, option B, starch, option C, maltose, and option D, that is sucrose. And the right option is option D, that is sucrose, because by looking at the sucrose bond, we will get that idea. Sucrose has C1C2 glycosidic bond and not C1C4 glycosidic bond. So the question number 25. Which of the following polymers has the strongest intermolecular forces of attraction? Options are option A, polythene, option B, polystyrene, option C, neoprene, and option D, terylene. And the right option is option D, that is terylene, because the monomer of polythene is ethane, C2H4. The monomer of polystyrene is styrene, that is C6H5CH2. The monomer of neoprene is chloroprene, CH2CCl, CH double bond CH2. So out of these options, the monomer of terylene is 1,4-benzene dicarboxylic acid and 1,2-ethanoidal. Thus, it possesses intermolecular hydrogen bonding and has the strongest intermolecular forces among the given options. So the right option is option D, terylene. Question number 26. Which of the following monomers can undergo condensation polymerization? Option A, isoprene, option B, propene, option C, styrene, and option D, glycine. And the right answer is option D, that is glycine. Glycine can undergo condensation polymerization. That is the reason the option is glycine. The example, one of the example also we given in this slide. Next, question number 27. A food additive that also acts as an antioxidant is option A, sugar syrup, option B, salt, option C, BHA, and option D, saccharin. And the right option is option C, that is BHA, that is butylated hydroxyl anisole. It is widely used as an antioxidant in foods like vegetable oils to stop them from getting oxidized and thereby preventing them from going rancid. Question number 28. Which of the following is not related to drug enzyme interaction? Option A, coenzymes, option B, enzyme inhibitor, and option C, allosteric site, and option D, antagonist. And the right option is option D, that is antagonist, because antagonists impede the action of drugs by occupying the enzyme sites themselves and hence is the one odd out. So that's why the solution is antagonist. Next, question number 29. 0.4 gram of dihydrogen is made to react with 7.1 gram of dichloride to form hydrogen chloride. The volume of hydrogen chloride formed at 273 Kelvin and 1 bar pressure is option A 90.8 liters, option B 45.4 liters, option C 9.08 liters, and option D 4.54 liters. And the right option is option D, that is 4.54 liters. That is by using the balanced chemical equation for when hydrogen gas is made to react with the chlorine gas, it will give 2 molecules of hydrochloric acid. So again 0.4 grams of H2, it will give, it is nothing but equal to 0.4 divided by 2 moles, because hydrogen it have 2 molecules, 2 atoms, that is equal to 0.2 mole. 7.1 gram of chlorine, that is equal to 7.1 divided by 71 moles, that is equal to 0.1 mole. So Cl2 is the limiting reagent here, hence 0.2 moles of HCl will be formed. Again we need to find out the volume of HCl formed in standard temperature and pressure condition. 1 mole of gas in STP occupies 22.7 liters. Thus 0.2 mole of HCl will occupy, that is equal to 4.54 liters. So the option is D, that is 4.54 liters. And question number 30, with regard to the photoelectric effect, identify the correct statement among the following. Option A, number of electrons ejected increases with the increase in work function. Option B, number of electrons ejected increases with the increase in the intensity of incident light. Option C, energy of ejected electrons increases with the increase in the intensity of incident light. And option D, numbers of electrons ejected increases with the increase in the frequency of the incident light. And the right option is option B, that is number of electrons ejected increases with the increase in the intensity of incident light, because photoelectric effect is the emission of electrons from a certain metal surface when it is irradiated with the photons or light. The minimum frequency increases, a minimum frequency required to eject an electron from a metal surface is called threshold frequency, that is U0. The equation for the photoelectric effect is HU, that is equal to HU0 plus KE, where U is nothing but frequency of the incident radiation. Here HU0 is the work function. The number of electrons ejected does not depend on work function. The number of electrons ejected increases with the increase in the intensity of incident light. An increase in the intensity of incident light means that the number of photons incident per unit surface area of the metal increases. So, which provides the incident photons has its frequency more than the threshold frequency. That's why the answer is option B, that is number of electrons ejected increases with the increase in the intensity of the incident light. Question number 31. The last element of the P block in the sixth period is represented by the outermost electronic configuration. Option A 4f14, 5d10, 6s2, 6p4, that is polonium, atomic number 84. Option B 4f14, 5d10, 6s2 and 6p6. The element is radon. And option C 7s square 7p6, that is 10s. And option D 4f14, 6d10, 7s2 and 7p6. Here the last element of the P block in the sixth period is represented by the outermost electronic configuration is the element, that is option B, that is radon, because in the electronic configuration radon is this particular, and this is the last element in the sixth period. Next question, question number 32. The conjugate base of NH3, that is ammonia. The options are option A NH2OH, that is hydroxyl amine, and NH2 2-, that is amidogen. It is obtained, it is not available in the pure form. When we are removing one hydrogen from ammonia, we are getting this element. And option C NH4 plus, that is ammonium ion, and option D, that is NH4OH, that is ammonium hydroxide. So the right answer is option B, that is amidogen, that is the conjugate base, has one proton less from the acid. If we remove one proton from NH3, we will get NH2 minus. So the option is option B. Next, question number 33. A gas mixture contains 20% of helium and 75% of CH4, that is methane, by volume. At a given temperature and pressure, the percentage by mass of methane in the mixture is approximately option A 92%, option B 8%, option C 75%, and option D 25%. And the right answer is option A 92%, because we know the relation at STP condition. Moles of helium present is 25 divided by 22.4, that is equal to 1.12 mole, and mass of helium present is 1.12 into 4, that is equal to 4.48 gram, and moles of methane CH4 present is 75%. He has given 75 divided by 22.4. Here 22.4 is the total mass of the element of the mixture, that is equal to 3.35 mole, and the mass of CH4 present is, we supposed to multiply by molecular mass. So the value we are getting 3.35 moles into 16, so the value will be 53.60 gram. Hence the mass percentage of methane, that is CH4, is equal to 53.60 divided by 58.08 into 100. By simplifying that, we are getting the value 92.28%, but in the option he has given 92%. So the option is option A, that is 92%. Next, question number 34. The percentage of S character in the hybrid orbitals of nitrogen in NO2, that is the nitrogen dioxide ion, NO3 minus, that is a nitrate ion, and NH4 plus, that is ammonium ion, respectively are 50%, 33.3%, 25%. Option B 25%, 50%, 33.3%, and option C 33.3%, 50%, 25%, and option D 33.3%, 25%, and 50%. And the right answer is option B, that is 25%, 50%, 33.3%. So this can be obtained by the relation and the condition. In NO2 plus, the steric number of N is 2, that is because it have 2 sigma bonds. Thus it is sp hybridized. Hence the percentage of S character is half into 100, that is equal to 50%. In O3 minus, that is ozone, the steric number of N is 3, so 3 sigma bonds. Thus it is sp square hybridized. Hence the percentage of S character is 1 by 3 into 100. So the value is 33.33%. And then in NH4 plus ion, the steric number of N is 4, because it contains 4 sigma bond. Thus it is sp3 hybridized. Hence the percentage of S character is 1 by 4 into 100, that is equal to 25%. Next, question number 35. The formal charge on the central oxygen atom in ozone is nothing but O3 is formal charge. Option A +2, option B +1, option C -1, and option D, that is 0. And the right answer is option B, that is +1. By looking at this figure, from that we can comes to know formal charge. The relation we know, number of valence electrons in the neutral atom minus half into number of valence electrons in the covalent bond minus number of electrons in lone pair. So here number of valence electron present is 3 plus 2 plus 1, that is equal to 6, minus half into number of valence electrons is again, that is 6, minus number of electrons in lone pair. Here 2 of the electrons have lone pair, so that is -2. By simplifying that, we are getting the value is +1. So the formal charge on the central oxygen, that is oxygen, that is option 1, that is +1. Question number 36. When the same quantity of heat is observed by a system at 2 different temperatures, T1 and T2, such that T1 is greater than T2, change in entropies are delta S1 and delta S2 respectively, then S2 entropies, S2 is greater than S1, or option B, delta S2 is less than delta S1, or delta S1 is less than delta S2, or delta S2 is equal to delta S1. So here S means entropy, and delta S is nothing but change in entropy. And the right answer for this particular question is option C, that is delta S1, that is change in entropy of the first state is less than delta S2. In thermodynamics, we are concerned about entropy change due to the transfer of heat, which we can write in the form S is equal to Q divided by T. Here Q is the constant, so delta S is directly proportional, inversely proportional to temperature. So it is given T1 is greater than T2 means, so actual relation between the entropies will be delta S1 is less than delta S2. This is the right answer. Next, question number 37. The oxidation number of nitrogen atoms in NH4NO3, that is ammonium nitrate, is option A plus 3 minus 5, option B minus 3 minus 3, option C plus 5 plus minus 5, and option D minus 3 and plus 5. And the right answer is option D, that is minus 3 and plus 5, because NH4NO3, that is ammonium nitrate, is a salt. The cationic part is NH4 plus and the anionic part is NO3 minus, that is nitrate. In NH4 plus, let the oxidation number be X. So we can write X plus 4 is equal to 1 because 4 elements. So X is equal to minus 3. And in NO3 minus, let the oxidation number be Y. So Y minus 6 because 6 elements are there. Okay, Y minus 6 is equal to minus 1. Therefore, Y is equal to plus 5. So the right answer is D. Then question number 38. A Lewis acid X reacts with the LiAlH4 in ether medium to give a highly toxic gas. This gas, when heated with NH3, gives a compound commonly known as inorganic benzene. The gas is B2N3H6, that is borosine, BF3, that is boron trifluoride, and B2O3, that is boric anhydride, and B2H6, that is diborane. So the right answer is option D, that is B2H6, that is diborane. Next, question number 39. The oxide of potassium that does not exist is K2O2, that is potassium peroxide, K2O3, that is potassium carbonate, K2O, that is potassium oxide, and KO2, that is potassium superoxide. And the right option is option B, that is K2O3, that is potassium carbonate, because it is not available in the oxides form. K2O, K2O2 and KO2 is available, but not K2O3. That is the right answer. Then question number 40. The metal that produces H hydrogen with both dilute hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide, that is an aqueous solution, is Ca, that is calcium, Fe, that is ferrous, iron, Zn, zinc, and Mg, magnesium. And the right answer is option C, that is zinc, because Zen produces H2 with both dilute hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide. The corresponding reactions are when zinc is made to react with the 2 moles of hydrochloric acid, it will give ZnCl2, that is zinc chloride, and hydrogen gas will be liberated. When again in zinc is made to react with the 2 molecules of sodium hydroxide, it will give Na2ZnO2, that is sodium zinc oxide plus hydrogen gas. So the right option is option C, that is zinc. Next, question number 41. Which of the following is not a pair of functional isomers? Option A, CH3CH2NO2, that is nitroethane, and H2NCH2COOH, that is 2-amino 2-hydroxypropanoic acid. Next, option B, CH3COOH, that is acetic acid, and HCOOCH3, that is methyl formate. Next, option C, C2H5OC2H5, that is diethyl ether, and C3H7OCH3, that is isopropyl methyl ether, and the last option, option D, that is CH3CH2OH, that is ethanol, and CH3OCH3, that is dimethyl ether. And the right option is option C, that is C2H5O C2H5, that is the diethyl ether, and isopropyl methyl ether, because functional isomers are compounds having the same molecular formula but different functional groups. Both the compounds given in option C are ethers. Therefore, this is the required answer, while the rest of the options are examples of functional isomers. So the right option is option C. Next, question number 42. here he has given when benzene is made to react with the excess chlorine, anhydride aluminum AlCl3, that is aluminum trichloride, is in the presence of anhydrous aluminum trichloride in the dark environment by maintaining cold weather. When it is made to react with the 6 molecules of hydrochloric acid. Here he asked to find the intermittent element what you are going to produce, that is X. That is the answer is option D, what he has given in that particular sketch. So the reaction which follows like this, what it has shown in the sketch, that is the element X. Next, which of the following is not a greenhouse gas? The option C has given option A O2 oxygen, NO2 nitrogen dioxide, CFC chlorofluorocarbon, and option D, that is CO2 carbon dioxide. And the right answer is option O2, because greenhouse gases are those compounds which increases the temperature of the atmosphere by observing the infrared rays of the sun. They include compounds like water vapor, CO2, NO2, O3, CFCs, etc., but not O2. So the right answer is option A, that is O2. Next question, question number 44. A metal exits as an oxide with the formal M molecules M0950. Metal M can exist as M2 plus in the ionic form and M3 plus in its oxide M0.960. The percentage of M3 plus in the oxide is nearly 5%, 9.6%, 8.3%, and 4.6%. And the right answer is option C, that is 8.3%. That can be obtained by using the relation overall charge in the metal oxide is 0 by using that particular condition. So we can balance the equation x of 2 plus 0.96 minus x into 3 plus 1 into minus 2. By simplifying that, we are getting the value x is equal to 0.88. Further, as per that condition 0.96, we suppose to subtract this, we are getting the value 0.08. For 3 plus ions, 0.08 divided by 0.96 into 100. So the exact value is 8.33%. Option he has given 8.3%. That is the right answer. Next question, question number 45. A metal crystallizes in a face-centered cubic, that is FCC structure, having a metallic radius of √2 angstrom. The volume of the unit cell in a meter cube is the option A 4 into 10 to the minus 9, option B 6.4 into 10 to the minus 30, option C 4 into 10 to the minus 10, and option D 6.4 into 10 to the minus 29. And the right answer is option D, that is 6.4 into 10 to the minus 29. Because we know that for FCC, atomic radius R, that is equal to square root of 2 into A divided by 4. By simplifying that, we are getting the value of A is equal to 4 into 10 to the minus 10 meter. But volume of unit cell is nothing but A cube, side into side into side. By making cube of that particular, we are getting the value 6.4 into 10 to the minus 29 meter cube. So the right answer is option D, that is 6.4 into 10 to the minus 29. Question number 46. Silicon doped with the gallium forms an intrinsic semiconductor, P-type semiconductor. Option C, N-type semiconductor. And option D, both N-type and P-type semiconductor. And the right answer is option B, that is P-type semiconductor. Because we know that in intrinsic semiconductor, it is a semiconductor where we do not use any dopant. That is, it is an undoped semiconductor. Silicon has 4 valence electrons, whereas gallium has only 3 valence electrons. Thus, the dopant has less number of valence electrons in this case. Hence, silicon doped with the gallium forms a P-type semiconductor. Question number 47. The pair of electrolytes that possess the same value for the constant A in Debye-Hückel-Onsager equation, that is lambda suffix m, that is equal to lambda naught suffix m minus A into square root of C. And the options he has given NaBr, that is sodium bromide, MgSO4, magnesium sulfate, NaCl and CaCl2, sodium chloride and calcium chloride, MgSO4 and Na2SO4, that is magnesium sulfate and sodium sulfate. Next, NH4Cl and NaBr, that is ammonium chloride and sodium bromide. And the right option is option D, that is NH4Cl NaBr, ammonium chloride and sodium bromide. The value of the constant A in the Debye-Hückel-Onsager equation, lambda m, that is equal to lambda m naught minus A into square root of C, which depends depends on temperature, charges of the ions, the dielectric constant of the solvent, and also the viscosity of the solvent. Here, since we are not given the solvent, we will assume that the solvent is the same for each case. Here, the deciding factor is the charge on the ions. Again, in NH4Cl and NaBr, the charges on the ions are the same. Hence, the pair of electrolytes that will possess the same value for the constant A will be NH4Cl and NaBr. This is the right option. Next question, question number 48. Which of the following pairs of solutions are isotonics? 0.001 moles of calcium chloride and 0.001 mole of Al2SO4 3, that is aluminum sulfate. Next option B, 0.01 moles barium chloride and 0.001 moles of calcium chloride. Next option C, 0.01 mole of barium chloride and 0.015 moles of sodium chloride. And next option D, 0.001 moles of aluminum sulfate and 0.01 moles of barium chloride. And the right option is option C, that is 0.01 moles of barium chloride and 0.015 moles of sodium chloride, because isotonic solutions are those which have the same osmotic pressure, that is pi is equal to I into CRT. But here we have different concentration of the solutions, and also they have different Van 't Hoff factor. First one, so the solutions for which the product of I and C will be the same and isotonics. For different conditions what he has given, we have calculated here, and the right answer that is we have got for the third case, that is option C. Next, question number 49. Solute X demerase in water to a extent of 80%. 2.5 gram of X in 100 gram of water increases the boiling point by 0.3 degrees Celsius. The molar mass of X is that we are supposed to find. Options he has given: A is equal to 65, or B 26, C 13, option D 52. And constant he has given K suffix B, that is equal to 0.52 Kelvin kg per mole. And the right answer is option B, that is 26, because we know the relation 2x is given tends to x2, that is when I tends to 1 minus infinity plus infinity by 2, it is going to give the value 0.6, and where alpha is nothing but equal to 0.8. This was given, but we know that delta TB is equal to I into KB into WB divided by M into 1000 divided by WA into G. So here, by substituting the values of WB, WA and all the unknowns, known values in this equation, we will get the value M is equal to 26 grams. So the right option is option B, that is 26. Question number 50. Given E0 for ferrous plus 3 and plus 2 ion, that is equal to 0.76 volts, and E0 of iodine I2 in ion solution, that is equal to 0.55 volts. The equilibrium constant for the reaction taking place in the galvanic cell consisting of the above two electrode is 2.303 RT divided by F, that is equal to 0.06, and the option A 3 into 10 to 8, option B 5 into 10 to 12, option C 1 into 10 to 7, and option D, that is 1 into 10 to 9. And the right answer is option C, that is 1 into 10 to 7, because we know the relation E0 of cell is equal to E0 of C minus E0 of A. So here we can decide cathode and anode, ferrous as cathode and iodine as anode. By considering the difference of those two, we will get the relation E0 cell is equal to 0.21. Further, by considering the reaction, complete reaction, we will get the values, and E0 cell is equal to 0.059 divided by 2 log of Kc. By simplifying this, we are getting the relation log Kc is going to become approximately equal to 7. or Kc is equal to 10 raised to 7. So the right option is option C, that is 1 into 10 raised to 7. Question number 51. If an aqueous solution of NaF is sodium fluoride is electrolyzed between inert electrodes, the product obtained at the anode is either option A, sodium, option B, oxygen, option C, fluorine, or option D, hydrogen. And the right answer is option B, that is oxygen, because at the anode oxidation takes place. Here water will be oxidized. The reaction at the anode will be 2H2 plus uh, it gives under oxidation, it will gives 4H plus O2 plus 4 electrons. And the right option is option B, that is O2. Next question, 52. In which of the following cases a chemical reaction is possible? First case he has given. Concentrated HNO3 is stored in a platinum vessel. Nitric acid is reacts with stored in the platinum vessel. Next, B. Gold ornaments are washed with the dilute hydrochloric acid. Third option he has given. Zinc sulfate is placed in a copper vessel. And option D. Copper nitrate solution is stirred with a copper spoon. The right answer is option D. When we are keeping silver nitrate solution in stirred with a copper spoon, because platinum and gold lie at the bottom of the reactivity series, thus it does not react with HNO3 and HCl. Again, zinc is more reactive than copper, thus copper will be displaced by Zn. If ZnSO4 is placed in a copper vessel, but Ag plus is less reactive than copper, thus copper will displace silver. The corresponding reaction is as given in this case. Yes. Next, question number 53. The time required for 60% completion of a first order reaction is 50 minutes. The time required for 93.6% completion of the same reaction will be option A 50 minutes, option B 150 minutes, option C 100 minutes, and option D, that is 83.8 minutes. And the right answer is option B, that is 150 minutes. That is by using the first order reaction equation, rate constant K is equal to 2.303 divided by T into log of R0 divided by R. Given the condition is 50 minutes at 60% of the reaction is completed. By substituting that value, we will get one sort of relation for K. So when 93.6% of the reaction is completed, so we have to equate that the value what we have obtained for logarithm 100 divided by 6.4. By simplifying this equation, we are getting the time required for the reaction, that is equal to 150 minutes. Question number 54. For an elemental reaction 2A plus 3B, it gives 4C plus D. The rate of appearance of C at a time t is 2.8 into 10 to minus 3 moles per liter per second. Rate of disappearance of B is at t will be option A 2 into 2.8 into 10 to minus 3 mole per liter per second. Option B 1 by 4 2.8 into 10 to minus 3 moles per liters per second. Option C 4 by 3 into 2.8 into 10 to minus 3 moles per liters per second. And option D 3 by 4 into 2.8 into 10 to minus 3 moles per liter per second. While writing these options, he took 2.8 into 10 to minus 3 as a common factor. So the right answer is option D, that is 3 by 4 of 2.8 into 10 to minus 3 moles per liters per second. Because in that given equation, we can write the relation as minus 1 by 3 d of B divided by dt is equal to 1 by 4 d of C divided by dt. By substituting the values, we will get the final values 3 by 4 into 2.8 into 10 to minus 3 moles per liter per second. That is the right answer. Question number 55. The rate constant of a reaction is given by K is equal to P into Z into E raised to minus EA divided by RT under standard notation. In order to speed up the reaction, which of the following factor has to be decreased? Option A, E suffix A, option B, T temperature, option C, Z, and option D, both Z and T. So the right option is option A, that is E suffix A, because in that expression of rate constant equation, what he has given, it is according to Arrhenius theory. To speed up the reaction, we will have to decrease the value of EA. That is, activation energy and will have to increase the value of temperature T and number of collisions. So the right option is option A, that is EA. Question number 56. A solution of silver iodide is prepared by mixing equal volumes of 0.1 mole silver nitrate and 0.2 moles of potassium iodide. Which of the following statement is correct? Option A. Solution obtained is a positive solution with the potassium ion observed in silver iodide. Or solution obtained is a negative solution with the iodine observed on silver iodine. Solution obtained in a negative solution with the nitrate observed on silver iodine. Next, option D. Solution obtained is a positive solution with the silver observed on silver iodine. And the right option is option B, that is solution obtained is a negative with the solution with the iodine ion observed on silver iodine. Given reaction is when silver nitrate is made to react with the potassium iodide, it will give silver iodine solution and potassium nitrate KNO3. Here the amount of AgNO3 present is 0.1 mole, amount of Ka present is 0.2 moles. Since potassium iodide is excess here, thus the solution obtained is a negative solution with the iodine observed on AgI. Question number 57. During a adsorption of a gas on a solid, the condition he has given, free energy delta G is less than 0, delta H change in enthalpy less than 0, change in entropy delta S is greater than 0. Second option, delta G is less than 0, delta H greater than 0 and delta S is greater than 0. Next option C, delta G is less than 0, delta H is less than 0 and delta S is less than 0. And option D, delta G is greater than 0, delta H is greater than 0 and delta S is greater than 0. And the right option is option C, that is delta G less than 0, delta H less than 0 and delta S is less than 0. Because when a gas is adsorbed on a solid surface, its movement is restricted, leading to a decrease in a entropy of the gas, that is delta S is negative. Now we know that for a process to be spontaneous, delta G should be negative. We know that delta G is equal to delta H minus T into delta S. Since delta S is negative, delta H has to be negative. So as to make delta G negative, hence adsorption is always an exothermic process. Hence the correct option is option C. Question number 58. Copper is extracted from copper pyrites by electrometallurgy. Option B, auto reduction. Option C, thermal decomposition. Option D, reduction by coke. And the right option is option B, that is auto reduction. Because the formula of copper pyrites is CuFeS2, that is copper iron sulfide. In auto reduction, the sulfide ores of the metals which are less electropositive like mercury Hg, Pb and Cu are heated in the air so as to convert a part of it to its oxides. These oxides then react with the remaining sulfide or in the absence of air to give the metal and sulfur dioxide. The corresponding reaction, that is Cu2O, copper oxide, when it is made to react with the Cu2S copper sulfide, it gives 3 molecules of copper plus half molecules of sulfur dioxide. So the right option is option B, that is auto reduction. And the question number 59. Function of potassium hexylethane in froth flotation process is to make ore. First one, option A, hydrophilic. Option B, heavier. Option C, lighter. And option D, hydrophobic. And the right answer is option D, that is hydrophobic. The function of potassium hexylethane in froth flotations process is to make the ore water repellent, that is called hydrophobic. The right option is option D, that is hydrophobic. Question number 60, that is a sulfide ore on roasting gives a gas X. X reacts with the chlorine in the presence of activated charcoal to give Y, where Y is option A, SCl6, that is sulfur hexachloride, or option B, SOCl2, that is thionyl chloride, and option C, that is SO2Cl2 sulfuryl dichloride, or option D, S2Cl2, that is disulfur dichloride. And the right option is option C, that is SO2Cl2, that is sulfuryl dichloride. The corresponding reactions are when cuprous sulfate is made to react with the oxygen, it will give cuprous oxide and sulfur dioxide. That reaction which involves roasting. SO2 plus Cl2 plus activated charcoal will give SO2Cl2. So here X is SO2 and Y is SO2Cl2. So the right answer is option C, that is SO2Cl2. And with this, we came to the end of this particular question paper solution, that is KCET 2020 chemistry. And please, all of you, subscribe this particular channel and like this particular video, and put the comment. And in coming days, I will come with the solution for KCET 2020 mathematics. Thank you all. Happy reading.